Hi everybody, I'm Lindsay Culver,
I'm Adrienne Blitzer.
and today we're going to talk about accountability.
So, I feel like in the world of real estate in general, whether you're in title, mortgage, or other services like inspection, like I am, accountability, what does that mean to you? What does that look like? It's a buzzword that we kind of throw around, but I think often we just use it. It's kind of like the word "I'm sorry," accountability.
Right,
But
right.
what are you accountable for? Who holds you accountable? What is that metrics that you use? I don't know. What do you use to hold yourself accountable?
Well, that's a great question. I've been changing it up since I started in real estate 17 years ago. I've had the calendar, right? If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist.
Oh, yes.
So one thing is, if I'm going to have a meeting or if I'm going to do something, it truly needs to be in the calendar. So that's one big accountability. I think the other piece is having a good friend or confidant and somebody you can bounce ideas off of you and just say like, hey, I'm struggling in this, what's happening in my world right now, and can you be there for me? Can you help me achieve my next goal?
Absolutely. I think the big thing is identifying who those people are, because they're not always the people we're friends, yes, but I think it's also the people that I respect. It's someone that I look up to, that I challenge myself. So if this person is someone I believe in their advice, well, then that's my best accountability partner, not my best friend or my husband or my sister or whatever. You want that person who's going to challenge you.
Well, that's a good point too, is what do they say? Surround yourself with your top 5 or 10 people that you strive to be and keep elevating your game. And I think that's really important. I've been on this great journey about trying to elevate my game, right? How can I be a better mom? How can I be a better friend? How can I be a better realtor? How can I do all these things better?
Absolutely. Part of that for me is, just showing up too. Like, I'm there, but I need to be there. Because just because you're physically, personally there, and maybe not so much in work because I'm on most of the time, but like my family, that's a big thing, is when I show up and I'm home and I'm there for them, I kind of need to be there for them. And that's a hard one. And my family holds me accountable, put the phone down, stop, turn the computer off, stop.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I struggle with that a lot, right? Because we are genetically composed. I would say you and I are kindred spirits in that we lead with a servant's heart, right?
Yes.
And we're constantly wanting to make things better than the way we see them.
Absolutely.
And so that sometimes will compromise, like if we're at a sports game or we're out with our family at dinner and I'm texting a client and I have to remember, does it need to be right the second, right? Mm-hmm. Like, does it have to be so reactive instead of proactive? Like, I can schedule it and do it at a later time.
Absolutely. And that is something I really work on, is this something that has to be done now? Because in my mind, sometimes it does, but does it really?
Right. And that's hard. I mean, because you and I are very the same. Like, first off, we want to get it done because we care about that person. But is it compromising our own, like, who we are?
Well,
right?
Absolutely. And it's challenging, I think, sometimes the relationships. So the accountability for sure doesn't always have to be just business. I mean, in life, I need accountability. And I've given my family that permission to hold me accountable, and my friends to call me out. And that's a hard one because it hurts sometimes.
Should I call you out?
Sure, go for it.
Okay.
What you got for me?
I don't have anything right now. Okay. But I'm asking for permission.
I'm giving you permission.
Okay.
But I think that's
Vice versa,
is having that person that I can tell you something that might not be always the most awesome, but you're going to receive it, because it's not just being able to give that information, but being able to receive it. Right. As humans, receiving information, a lot of times we, for lack of a better term, get butthole hurt about things that we don't like to hear. Mm-hmm. And you have to be able to sort that out and say, this person's helping me grow.
Right.
It's not coming from an unloving place.
Right.
And I think that's accountability too, and picking that person.
Well, and then that actually brings up another point, is the accountability, or where you're hearing that from. Do you trust that person?
Absolutely.
Right? Because we all know, we've been there, where someone gives you feedback and you're like, well, you're not really qualified to, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not valid. Or let me take that back. It's valid to them, but it's not necessarily where you're like, wow, like, you have no experience in that.
Absolutely.
Like, how does that work?
They emotionally don't have the same relationship with that person. So giving you that advice may not be as helpful if you don't trust that accountability partner. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of it, is selecting that person who you truly trust, that they're coming from that place of growth and mindset of growth, than from a I'm criticizing you. It's not a criticism. And so accountability is not criticism. And I think that's something that often it gets mistaken for.
Right. Well, I remember once there was a top agent that I personally is not in my market, but he had given me just some advice and stuff. And it was just very like crass and like a little bit like his style just wasn't my style. Right. And I didn't know him. So I just didn't, it just went like that. Right. Whereas like, to somebody else, if I had gotten that information from somebody that was a trusted source that I would have been like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm doing that today. I'm going to do whatever.
Absolutely.
So it is interesting to see how that really plays a role too, is somebody that you trust and you have that relationship with.
Absolutely. I think, it really is. It's a fine line. And, there's no perfect realm. You can say, oh, I'm going to do this sheet or I'm going to fill this out. But unless you're going to follow through and you have somebody, because as people, we need people, then it doesn't happen.
Right.
So go out there and find your accountability partners this Monday and get some, motivation.
Get some motivation Monday. Well, I'm Lindsay Culver with Culver Home Team and Premier Property Group.
I'm Adrienne Butzer with Environmental Works. Happy Monday. Go out there and be productive.
Bye.
I don't know why my watch doesn't show.
Just